All right, welcome back here to the Hill on NewsNation. Seems to be an initiative taking form within the Democratic Party to try to make the president public enemy number one. Comes as the California Governor Gavin Newsom tells the Hill exclusively that he has no regrets on his fighting fire with fire strategy and trying to take on the president when it comes to his own redistricting plans in California. He posted a message trolling the president.
It's time to, dare I say, do the right thing. Actually see how that feels for you, doing the right thing. If you don't, California will neutralize anything you do in the state of Texas.
The White House asked about the ongoing tiff between the president and the governor, even extending to potential lawsuits threatened by Newsom, to which Caroline Leavitt had this response.
Bring it on, Gavin.
And while the governor of California is seeming to pick a fight with the president of the United States, so too is one of the big-name Democrats right now, the Democratic Socialist, the candidate there in New York City, Zohran Mamdani. He has launched what he is calling the 5 Boroughs Against Trump tour this week. He's calling out the Trump agenda and why it presents, as he views it, dire consequences for New Yorkers. This Mamdani just from the other day.
There is no borough that will be free from Trump's cruelty. We will feel the pain of this legislation, whether we are in Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, or Staten Island.
So will this strategy of taking on the president work on the West Coast, the East Coast, anywhere in between, or maybe not at all? Full panel here with me now. Lynda Tran, former senior advisor to the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Lindsey Granger, co-host of Rising on the Hill. Mick Mulvaney, former chief of staff in the first Trump White House. And Denise Gitsham, NewsNation political contributor. Hello to you all. Happy Tuesday. I guess it's kind of my Monday. Thanks for being with me tonight here on the Hill. Let me start with you, Lynda, because it seems like Gavin Newsom, and I'll get to you, Denise, because I know this is your home state. But it seems like Gavin Newsom is just totally locked in on this fight fire with fire strategy. And is that the right way to go about it?
Well, I think Governor Newsom is definitely speaking to the base when he's shouting these missives and throwing out lots of strong arguments against the Trump administration. But let us take a little bit of a walk down memory lane, which is earlier on this year, after the fires occurred in California, he did take a different approach. He tried to be a little bit more moderated and see what working with this administration would look like. And clearly that ended up in not such a great place. He had the National Guard sending 2,000 troops to Los Angeles. So here he is speaking to his base and responding to Trump with the same kind of fire that he's received himself.
Denise, you're out there on the West Coast.
California.
Yeah, California. What's the reception there?
It's Friday every day, by the way. I just want to rub that in a little bit. But listen, this is really smart on Governor Newsom's part, right? He doesn't really have a record to stand on. California is a complete mess. I can tell you that as a Californian. And with only 27% of independents, which is really all that matters at the end of the day in determining who ends up in the Oval Office, even approving of Democrats is really a record low. One thing that this does not solve the problem of is that Democrats still do not have a clear united message or a clear united leader, which obviously Gavin is trying to step up and fill. It doesn't change the fact that there's no messaging, no identity, and no policy platform that Democrats agree on that's going to help them counter what Republicans have to offer.
So, Lindsey, here's what Newsom has been doing, and show the post. He's trying to mimic Trump, essentially. This was the tweet. You can see it's from the press office. It's in all caps. Thank you for your attention to this matter, so on and so forth. He's trolling, but Denise is saying it's because he doesn't have an agenda to run on, essentially.
No, I think like the praise finally that somebody actually is fighting fire with fire is important. I hate that this redistricting issue is the conversation, because when we rely on the census and understand what the actual purpose is to represent like underrepresented communities, mostly ending up being communities of color, like in Texas. So it annoys me that this is a political back and forth. But to see Democratic lawmakers actually take a stance and leave the city, which is something that's more, to me, in a Republican playbook, and watch them stand firm and then Gavin Newsom jump in like a backup plan in case they do go back and Republicans try this in Texas all over again. I think, it's something, rather than everybody sitting back and calling Trump a fascist and all these other terms and doing nothing and just complaining. So, I think they can't just sit back and get rolled over.
So how does Trump process all this, Mick?
Oh, I think he sees it for what it is. It's performance theater. Look, there's a lot of people out there trying to be the next Donald Trump. There's a lot of Democrats trying to be the next Donald Trump. There's a lot of Republicans trying to be the next Donald Trump. I'm just looking forward to my Democrat friends when Gavin Newsom comes out and says, we're going to annihilate you, or there's other inflammatory sort of language that they'll decry that the same way they do when Republicans use it. They'll call that a threat to democracy. When the folks in Texas leave, that's a threat to democracy. I keep waiting for the balance to that conversation. But it's performance theater. The Democrats are looking for something to catch fire. They're trying to figure out how to separate themselves from the rest of their crowd and also rise to the national level.
So, Lynda, to Mick's point, other coast, Zohran Mamdani, my administration will be Donald Trump's worst nightmare, end quote. Performance theater, or is that where this goes? I don't know, assuming he wins. We'll see.
Well, rounding the bend into my third decade in politics, I will say pretty much all of politics in America is performance theater to some extent. But look, I will say this. Zohran Mamdani is doing something a little bit different than what Governor Newsom is doing, in that as part of this whole tour that he has started this week, he's also talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and the impact of Medicaid cuts and the impact of nutrition assistance and that being slashed, as well as housing cuts that have come out of the Republican budget in recent weeks. He's making this substantive in addition to levying those, fighting words.
Well, I also want to talk about why Trump won, right? The economy wasn't good. The economy still isn't good. So when you think about what all the senators are doing in their home states right now, going back and rallying, it's the same thing that Mamdani's doing, is jumping on board to a moment that's at hand to say, okay, well, how did this big, beautiful bill affect your life? How will it? And trying to just go in that direction, knowing that the competitors are both friends with Trump at this point for Mamdani.
So here was Mamdani the other day.
It is time for us to make clear that what this city deserves is a mayor who, when he sees Donald Trump attacking the people of this city, will stand up and fight back against that vision.
What's this showdown going to be like? Denise, Mick, I'll give you the last word here.
More Mamdani, please. The more we see Mamdani, the worse it gets for Democrats who keep, saying we don't have socialism in our agenda. Oh my gosh, put them out there. I love this head-to-head. We will go 10 rounds every single day on the merits of really capitalism versus socialism. Let's freaking go. I'm so excited when I see Mamdani pop up. And I know every Democrat, whether they admit it publicly or not, is saying, please, God, no more. Please,
Mick,
just shut them down.
Mick, I'll give you the last word, though. What about to the point that now they're going to hold some of the president's record up and say, all right, this is what I'm fighting up against?
I mean, if you're running in a Democrat primary, isn't this the smart thing to do? I mean, if Democrat primary voters probably don't like Donald Trump very much. So they're probably going to want to vote for whoever hates Donald Trump the most. And that's going to be what differentiates them. Just like in a Republican primary, they're going to be falling over each other to see who can like Donald Trump the most. So you're going to see this theater at every single level. It's just, in a mayor's race in New York, it's going to be fascinating to watch.
From California to Charlotte to our nation's capital, a little bit of a different feel tonight. Thank you all. Appreciate it.